Hello everyone and welcome back to Chris Aquatics. In today's video we're going to be doing my first terrarium on the channel. It's actually my first terrarium I've done ever, so don't judge me, but this is my first time trying. So I ended up picking up a jar from Kmart for about $4, and then I got some sphagnum moss which I wet down with a bit of water, not too much but just enough to get it damp. I got that one from Bunnings. I'll list all these items down in the description. I got some just basic moss from my local creek, and then I got some mud from my backyard. Basically it was just dirt, and then I just put a lot of water in it so that I can stick it onto the side of the jar, which is what I'm trying to do right now. I got a pipette and filled it with water, and then I used that to soak it up, but I didn't want to get too much water into it. So I used this, and then it was getting a bit more sticky, and it was a lot easier to press it up against the side of the jar. I got a wooden sort of usable spoon. I think it's made out of bamboo or something like that. The ones that they give you at fast food stores, I just collect them because they're very helpful for random situations. So I used that to press down the mud against the side of the jar because I wanted to have a bit of a moss wall in this one. I saw a person do it online and I thought it'd be interesting for me to give it a go. I did it a bit differently to how they did it. They only did a portion of theirs, but I did the whole background. I wasn't able to film the whole thing because it was really technical and hard to film, but I did get the part where I was adding some moss to it. I'm trying to get better at filming my videos, and it's only filmed on my phone at the moment as I don't have a camera, but I'm working towards it, so when we do get there I'll have a lot better quality videos. So I hope you guys enjoy this for what it is at the moment, and hope you guys can be understanding. I don't actually know the name of the moss that I'm using. I really just picked it up locally. It was growing on the side of some rocks by a creek, so I grabbed it and I thought I could use it in Escape. I don't know how it's gonna grow, but I'm gonna find out. If you guys know what kind of moss it is, if by the looks of it, I can try to get a better photo for anyone if they want to help me out, but I personally have no clue what type of moss it is. I was able to find two different types, so I've got this one I was using in the background and I used it on the foreground as well, and then there's another one that I use in a bit further into the video that I can show you guys too. So as you guys can see, I used tweezers to put most of the moss in, and then I went afterwards with my finger and patted it down really tight because I wanted it to adhere to the wall as best as possible. I'm not really using anything sticky here, so I wanted to make sure that I did it right. I originally started off by doing the substrate first, which is what you guys can see here. I used some hydro clay balls, and I used a bit of sphagnum moss plus some of the mud I used for the background, but then I realized it was going to be very hard to tilt the jar on the side with the substrate in, so I removed it, and then I did the background with the moss first. So it's a bit out of order, but that's just kind of how I should have done it, and I've learned that lesson to do next time. As I said, this is my first time doing it. I ended up adding way too much sphagnum moss, and I didn't really know how much to add, but I ended up covering a portion in the background I didn't want to, so I removed quite a good bit of this and just had a thin layer. I wasn't able to get the film of this because it corrupted, but I did add a layer of the mud as well. It's just a thin layer that capped off the sphagnum moss. The moss I'm adding right now, I think it's moss. It's not the same as the one from the background, so if you guys can name that for me, that'd be great. I think the one I'm putting in right now is Fitonia. I'm going to be doing some research afterwards to try to figure out all the plants. I got this one from Bunnings a bit ago, and I thought it would fit in the Escape because it doesn't seem to be getting too big in the little pot I had it in. So I thought I could fit this one. And I also had a little bit of, I think it's a fern. It's a smaller, like a baby boomer's fern, I think that's what they called it. I don't know the exact name of this. It was kind of not doing too well in the jar I had it in, so I wanted to put it in this one and see if I can get it to go in this one a bit better. I ended up capping the rest of it off with the bit of the extra moss I had lying around. I had a tiny bit extra from what I got, so I thought I could use that to fill in the front. The plants I used was literally everything I owned, so I didn't really have a lot of selection. If you guys have any ideas of what I can add that would be helpful in a small terrain that's not going to grow too fast and get too big, I'd love some suggestions because I want to do more of these and I'm going to try to get better at filming them. So I ended up filling up basically the entire front section of the jar with just this moss, and I think it looks pretty good. It still had a bit of mud in it, so it looks a bit more browner than it should. I tried to wash it out, but it wasn't really helping. It doesn't really bother me, it kind of makes it look a little more natural, so I like that side of it. I initially realised that I added a little bit too much water to this, so I ended up leaving the lid open for quite a while. I was hoping that I could get a bit of that to evaporate out so then I don't have any running in my plants. That's a tip that one of my mates gave me that has terrariums. So I hope you guys liked the video, and I'm going to try my best to do a couple more of these. I'd love some suggestions down below, and I'd appreciate any feedback. Thank you guys, and have a good day. Bye bye.